GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. This morning, police arrested a driver after a Scarborough crash that turned up a firearm, and the city is adding 10 acres to Beadosage Park. Expect heavy traffic on the downtown routes with multiple closures. Over to you, Nathan.
The Kensington Market Spring Festival opens today, running through Sunday, offering free entry to visitors across the historic market streets, showcasing local artisans, live music, and food vendors.
Today's schedule highlights a folk music stage on Main Street, a community garden tour at 2 p.m., and a pop-up art gallery featuring emerging Toronto creators.
At noon, a local chef will demonstrate sustainable cooking techniques, while a children's storytelling corner offers interactive tales, and the festival provides complimentary reusable bags for shoppers.
Lots to get to. Let's begin our lunch break with the day's stories and more, right after this quick glimpse of the Kensington Market Spring Festival. Good morning, Toronto.
Police arrested a man in his 20s after a single vehicle crash early Friday morning in Scarborough. Officers responded to a report of a collision at the intersection of Kennedy Road and Passmore Avenue at about 4:45. Emergency crews extracted the driver from the wreckage, and a firearm was discovered inside the vehicle. The Toronto Police Service took the suspect into custody at the scene, and the weapon was secured as evidence. No injuries were reported among the driver or any nearby pedestrians. The collision happened in a residential stretch close to a nearby elementary school. The investigation remains ongoing, with detectives reviewing dash cam footage and gathering witness statements to determine the circumstances that led to the crash and the presence of the gun. Police have not released further details about the firearm or any potential charges at this time.
Beadosage Park, one of the city's newest green oases, is in the middle of a 10-acre expansion that broke ground today. The addition will push the park's footprint farther into the surrounding neighborhood, adding fresh trails, native plantings, and extra space for picnics and play. City officials say the work is part of a broader effort to boost accessible outdoor space after the park's popular debut just a year ago. Construction crews are already on site, clearing the new parcel and laying down the first pathways, with completion slated for next summer. Residents can expect the expanded park to open with expanded amenities that complement the existing fields, splash pad, and community garden. The project is funded through a mix of municipal and provincial green infrastructure grants, reflecting Toronto's commitment to more livable neighborhoods.
Researchers released a study today urging the city to adopt an aggressive approach to persistent coyote problems. The paper, authored by a lead researcher in partnership with the city, argues that any coyote identified as a repeated nuisance should be humanely euthanized without delay, and that Toronto's existing wildlife management plan should be overhauled. The authors cite a rise in urban coyotes across neighborhoods from the Annex to Scarborough, noting frequent sightings, pet attacks, and garbage raids that have strained municipal resources. City officials have long balanced public safety with animal rights concerns, and the new recommendations have sparked a fresh debate among conservation groups, animal welfare advocates, and residents. The study calls for clear criteria to define persistent behavior and for a coordinated response that includes rapid removal, public education, and increased monitoring.
Ontario's Progressive Conservative Caucus is in turmoil after Willowdale MPP Stan Cho was found to have billed taxpayers and private donors for hotel stays that add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past 3 years. The revelations have sparked a sharp divide, with some party insiders demanding an immediate resignation while others argue the matter should be handled through internal review. Sources say the controversy erupted early this morning, prompting a heated caucus meeting that failed to reach consensus. Premier Doug Ford has not yet commented, but his office indicated the issue will be investigated by the Integrity Commissioner. Opposition leaders have called for transparency, and the scandal threatens to dominate the party's agenda as it prepares for the upcoming provincial election campaign. The episode has already eroded public confidence in the party, according to recent polling, and could influence voter sentiment in key ridings.
Ontario's Ministry of Natural Resources reported that no new wildfires ignited in the province during the past 24 hours, while 177 fires continue to burn across the region. The update, released after the overnight monitoring period spanning July 23rd to 24th, underscores the scale of the ongoing response effort. Fire crews remain deployed along the front lines in northern and central districts, where most of the active blazes are located. The ministry said containment work proceeds day and night, with aerial retardant drops and ground crews rotating to protect communities and critical infrastructure. Officials warned that weather conditions, including high temperatures and dry breezes, could still fuel flare-ups despite the recent lull in new ignitions. Residents in affected zones are urged to stay alert to evacuation alerts and air quality advisories as the province works to bring the remaining fires under control.
Soon we'll explore Ontario's new Botox guidelines and what they mean for local clinics. Then back to more news. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. Let's cut through the noise and get straight to the stories that matter. Now over to Nathan Cole for your local headlines.
Ontario has just released revised guidelines that tighten oversight of aesthetic treatments such as Botox, dermal fillers, and similar procedures. The changes, announced early this morning, set new standards for consent, practitioner qualifications, and record keeping. Doctors, nurses, and other licensed providers will need to complete additional training modules and adhere to stricter documentation before administering injections. While many clinics see the move as a step toward greater patient safety, a handful of nurses have voiced worries that the added requirements could lengthen appointment times and increase costs for clients. The province says the rules aim to reduce complications and ensure that all practitioners meet consistent competency levels. For Torontonians seeking cosmetic work, the updates mean more paperwork before a treatment and potentially longer wait times, but also clearer protections against adverse outcomes.
An auto repair shop in Scarborough is facing a mounting pile of scrap tires that it cannot move. Late Thursday night, the shop's owner received an order to clear more than 1,000 used tires, but the province's new tire recycling regulations have left no recycler willing to take them. The rule change eliminated the previous network of processors, so the shop now sits with a growing stock that threatens storage space and compliance deadlines. City officials say the backlog highlights a gap in the province's revised program, which reshaped how tires are collected province-wide. For neighbors, the standoff could mean more trucks on local streets or delayed services if the shop can't free up space. The owner continues to search for a licensed recycler, while the city monitors the situation.
Yesterday, the Ontario government finished the launch shaft for the Yonge North Subway extension, a key early step in the project that will push rapid transit farther north. The shaft, located beneath Yonge Street, provides the starting point for tunnel boring machines that will soon carve the new underground route. For commuters living in the northern neighborhoods, the extension promises shorter rides to the downtown core and easier access to jobs, schools, and services. Officials say the completed shaft clears a major hurdle, allowing the next phase of construction to begin later this year. The work was carried out while traffic on Yonge remained open, minimizing disruption for shoppers and drivers. Residents can now look ahead to a transit network that reaches significantly further into Toronto's growing major north side.
Yesterday, mayoral hopeful Brad Bradford unveiled a public safety blueprint that calls for the addition of 1,000 new police officers to the Toronto Police Service. The proposal, presented at a downtown town hall, outlines a plan to recruit, train, and deploy the expanded force over the next several years, citing a need to bolster response capacity and deter crime. Bradford argued that the increased staffing would allow for more patrols in high-traffic neighborhoods and free up specialized units for complex investigations. Funding details were not disclosed, but the candidate said the budget would be balanced through municipal efficiencies and targeted grants. The announcement has entered a crowded mayoral race where candidates are each outlining distinct approaches to safety, and it is expected to shape upcoming debates as voters weigh fiscal priorities against policing expansion.
Yesterday, a University of Toronto mathematics professor made history by becoming the first Canada-based scholar to receive the Fields Medal. The prestigious award, given every 4 years to mathematicians who have made outstanding contributions, was announced at a ceremony on campus. The professor's work, which focuses on complex geometric structures, earned the distinction after years of international collaboration and peer-reviewed publications. Colleagues said the honor not only celebrates a singular research achievement, but also puts Canadian mathematical research on the world stage. Students in the department described the moment as inspirational, noting how it could attract more talent and funding to local labs. The university plans to feature the award in upcoming public lectures, giving the broader community for future generations a chance to hear about the breakthrough that earned the medal.
Now let's turn to our weather team for a quick look at this afternoon's outlook.
A deepening ridge pushes cool air east while a fast jet stream fuels tomorrow's dry, mild afternoon. The all-time July 24 high in Toronto sits at 32.2 degrees, set in 2025 during an unprecedented heat wave that sent temperatures soaring across southern Ontario. The record low, 13.2 degrees, was recorded in 2004 when a polar air mass slipped southward, blanketing the city in a rare winter-like chill. By contrast, today's climate normal hovers around 22 degrees for the high and 14 for the low, making the expected 20 degrees feel comfortably modest. The live radar shows a blank across the Greater Toronto Area, with no echoes of rain or snow in sight. A high-pressure dome is sinking, and the jet stream racing west at roughly 149 kilometers per hour is steering lingering moisture far north. With the atmosphere stable, the next pulse of precipitation won't arrive for at least 12 hours, so the city stays dry as we move into the afternoon. At noon, the city basks under clear skies with a temperature of 18 degrees and a light southeast breeze at 3 kilometers per hour. The high-pressure ridge, though beginning to fall, still dominates, keeping the air stable and limiting cloud development. Meanwhile, the jet stream overhead, moving at roughly 149 kilometers per hour from the west, injects a modest amount of upper-level momentum that will allow temperatures to climb slowly toward a high of 20 degrees by mid-afternoon. Humidity holds near 70%, and the UV index reads 8, indicating strong solar intensity. Wind will remain light, never exceeding 25 kilometers per hour, and no weather alerts are in effect. By sunset, the temperature will dip to 16 degrees, leaving a pleasant, dry evening. Saturday brings a lingering high-pressure bubble that will keep the sky overcast, with temperatures holding near 21 degrees and a low of 14. The cloud cover will limit daytime heating, making the day feel milder than the weekend average. Sunday flips the script as the ridge retreats and a southerly flow returns, pushing the high up to 28 degrees while still allowing a 30% chance of a brief shower. Monday and Tuesday remain under a slow-moving trough, delivering overcast conditions and a 60% and 65% chance of rain respectively, with highs staying around 28 and lows near 19. By Wednesday, the trough lifts, clearing the sky for a high of 24 and a low of 17, offering a crisp finish to the week. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Heavy traffic slows commuters, the Blue Jays held off the Rays, and AFC Toronto City's expansion shines. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Major closures are choking downtown. Queen Street is shut from Woodbine to Beach, pushing traffic onto Richmond. Fleet Street is closed between Angelique and Strachan, diverting cars onto King. Yonge Street is blocked at Dundas through Shooter, sending drivers onto Bay and College. Expect backups of up to 15 minutes on those corridors and on the Gardiner eastbound near the Danforth. On transit, TTC Line 1 runs a partial shutdown from St. Clair to College. Trains terminate at St. Clair and riders must transfer to buses. Line 2 opens 15 minutes late between St. George and Broadview. GO Transit has adjusted schedules on the Barrie, Kitchener, and UP Express lines, with some early trips canceled. If you can avoid the downtown core this afternoon, the Don Valley Parkway and the QEW remain clear. The 401 and the Gardiner westbound are moving freely. Allow extra time and consider alternate routes.
Free concerts at the Canadian National Exhibition are rolling out today, with JoJo, Shaggy and Lupe Fiasco on the main stage. It's a no-ticket outdoor vibe perfect for a quick lunch break breakaway. Across the city, the Odyssey is lighting up IMAX screens in the Greater Toronto area, shot in 70mm film for a jaw-dropping visual feast. If you love big screen spectacle, this is the chance to feel the action without leaving town. And the Toronto International Film Festival is unveiling its gala and special presentations, featuring Chris Rock's Misty Green and Peter Farrelly's I Play Rocky. Film lovers can snag a seat now and get a preview of the festival's award season contenders. All three events are happening right now, giving you music, cinema, and festival buzz without planning ahead. Choose your vibe and make the most of the day. Grab a friend, soak it in, and keep the afternoon rolling. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Here's the latest on Toronto's teams, from the diamond to the ice. The Toronto Blue Jays edged the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 on Thursday, with Shane Bieber delivering 7 innings of one-run ball. Manager John Schneider highlighted the stark improvement in Bieber's recent outings, calling the performance a turning point for the rotation. Mitch Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, told reporters on Wednesday that the Maple Leafs never offered him the protection he expected. The claim adds another layer to the ongoing discussion about Marner's departure, underscoring lingering uncertainty around the hometown forward's future. The Toronto Maple Leafs announced the addition of Swedish defenseman Emil André on a 2-year contract, reportedly worth $3.1 million. The signing bolsters Toronto's blue line as the club prepares for the upcoming season, aiming to deepen its defensive depth.
AFC Toronto City, nestled in the heart of downtown Toronto, is getting a major boost. The federal government just pledged a repayable investment of more than $20 million, part of a package supporting 9 Greater Toronto Area innovators. For AFC, that cash means adopting cutting-edge AI platforms, scaling its development labs, and hiring fresh talent right here on Queen Street. The expansion will tighten the tech corridor, drawing more startups and creating high-skilled jobs for the community. It's the kind of homegrown growth that keeps Toronto on the global innovation map. When a local firm scales, the whole neighborhood feels the ripple, more opportunities, brighter future for all of us. Up next, we celebrate AFC Toronto City's tech expansion, powered by federal investment, bringing new jobs and innovation to our community.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
A downtown bar lost its liquor license after police found it buying stolen alcohol from a nearby homeless encampment, sparking outrage. The fallout could reshape how establishments source stock in Etobicoke. Bar sits at 3653 Lakeshore Boulevard West, where the probe began. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on the cracked concrete outside Southside Johnny's Bar and Grill, the neon sign flickering above the doorway at 3653 Lakeshore Boulevard West. The air smells of stale beer and the distant hum of traffic on the lakeshore. Inside, empty tables sit under dim bulbs. The bar's once busy taps now silent after the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario revoked its license yesterday. Owner John Theodorakakis, a middle-aged man with a furrowed brow, told me he bought bottles from people living in the encampment just across the street, hoping to keep the peace after they damaged property and harassed staff. Tonight, a small crowd of regulars watches as the doors stay locked, their conversations a low murmur about a 21-year-old neighborhood staple now shuttered. The decision underscores how desperation on both sides can erode a community's cornerstone. When a bar trades peace for stolen spirits, the whole block pays the price. Carl Dumont, virtually at Southside Johnny's Bar and Grill.
On a crisp Thursday morning at the newly opened Finch West LRT station, a line of commuters stretched up the wide concrete ramp that links the subway to the Fresh Line's 6 tracks. Among them, Maya, a young mother pushing a stroller, and her grandfather, who uses a power chair, exchanged smiles as a group of volunteers from the local Accessibility Coalition handed out bright orange flyers. The flyers highlighted a petition that had gathered more than 2,000 signatures in just 3 weeks, demanding an elevator beside the ramp. As the crowd gathered near the glass canopy, a Metrolink spokesperson stepped forward, thanked the community, and announced that construction crews would begin installing a direct elevator within the next month. The relief was palpable. Children gathered around, waving homemade signs that read "Elevate Us," while a local artist sketched the hopeful faces on a large pad. Maya whispered that the city finally heard them. It's a reminder that when neighbors speak up together, the city listens and change becomes possible. Toronto's transit works best when we all move forward together.
On a crisp Tuesday morning on the bustling streets of Etobicoke, officers from the Toronto Police Service and the Ontario Provincial Police gathered beside a silver semi-tractor trailer that had just been pulled over on Highway 4. Inside, they uncovered a hidden compartment stuffed with kilograms of illicit substances, a haul valued at $139 million. The operation, part of the cross-border Project Bay, involved detectives from both Canada and the United States, and it quickly unfolded into a coordinated raid that swept through warehouses, parking lots, and a modest suburban home where a teenage son watched his mother answer the door to uniformed officers. The sight of a young girl clutching a handmade thank you card for the officers, her crayon smudged with excitement, reminded everyone why the painstaking work matters. By the end of the day, dozens of individuals, from low-level couriers to senior brokers, were facing charges, and a dangerous supply line was broken. Toronto's neighborhoods feel a little safer knowing the dedication of those who protect them.
Thank you, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. Congratulations to the University of Toronto professor who just earned the first Canada-based Fields Medal, an inspiring milestone for our city's scholars. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you, so stay tuned.